You check your credit score, see it slipping, and wonder what you're doing wrong. But what if the real damage comes from a habit that feels completely harmless? Every quiet choice can cost you more than you realize. Stay with me, because once you uncover this hidden pattern, you can finally take control before it gets worse. Most people don't realize their credit score is dying slowly. It's not one big mistake. It's a small habit. Every tap, every swipe feels harmless. But behind the scenes, something is breaking. Your credit score reacts to habits you don't even notice. One of those habits is credit utilization. Maxing out cards feels normal until it isn't, because small balances don't feel dangerous. But lenders see it differently. They see risk, not intention, and the damage builds quietly every month. No one warns you about silent debt behavior. It doesn't look like failure. At first, it looks like normal life in America. But normal doesn't mean safe. The system rewards a...
If you made it this far, you already know your brain is capable of more. The first link in the pinned comment reveals the simple reading method thousands are using to absorb information faster, remember more, and think with greater clarity. Don't wait until everyone else gets ahead. See it while it's still there.
Awareness, not comfort. And most people stay unaware for years, until one day, everything becomes harder. Loans, rent, opportunities, all affected. And it all started with something small, repeated every day. The worst part is how invisible it feels. No one sees your credit mistakes in real time, but the system records everything. Every small delay becomes a signal. Late payments don't scream, they whisper, and whispers become consequences. Your future options start shrinking, and it happens before you notice. This habit feels like freedom, but it's dependency, and most people confuse spending with control. The credit system doesn't care about your intentions. It only reacts to behavior, and behavior becomes identity in the system. Breaking the habit is harder than earning more, because income doesn't fix behavior. Only awareness does. The first step is noticing the pattern, not the symptoms, but the behavior. That's where financial control begins. Not more money, but better habits. Most people never connect their habits to their credit score. They think it's about income, not behavior. But banks don't track your effort. They track patterns, and patterns don't lie. One swipe becomes a habit. One habit becomes your profile, and your profile defines your future. That's the real system most people ignore, because it's easier to blame money than to change behavior. But change always starts small, one decision at a time, until behavior becomes identity again. And identity changes your financial future. Not luck, not income, but control over daily habits. That's what builds credit and freedom. And it starts with what you do when no one is watching. Most people never see the moment things start to collapse. It doesn't start with crisis. It starts with delay. And delay becomes a system you slowly stop noticing, until it becomes your normal. And normal is the most dangerous state, because nothing feels urgent, even when everything is slowly breaking. The truth is simple. Your credit score is just behavior over time, and behavior is built in silence. No one claps for good credit habits, but everyone feels the consequences.
Think you can make it to the end? Stay with the story until the final second, then comment, "I made it to the end," to prove you caught the hidden lesson most people miss. Thousands never finish and lose the biggest insight. Don't stop now. The ending changes everything.
Of bad ones. Credit is memory, and memory never forgets patterns. The real danger is repetition. Not the big moments, but the daily ones. That's where credit is built or destroyed. And it always starts with what you repeat. Most people think credit problems happen suddenly, but they don't. They accumulate in silence. Like interest, they grow quietly, and suddenly, it's everywhere. The problem is never the system alone. It's how people interact with it. One wrong habit is enough to change everything over time. That's why awareness matters. Awareness doesn't feel powerful at first, but it changes direction. Direction is what credit responds to. Not motivation, not income spikes, but repetition of discipline. That's what builds real stability. And stability compounds, just like debt does. One habit decides the direction. Most people never realize they are choosing every day. They think it's one big decision that changes everything. But it's never one moment. It's repetition. And repetition becomes identity. Your credit score is not random. It is calculated behavior over time. And that means you can change it. Slowly, but completely. That's how financial control is built. Most people don't fail because of income. They fail because of patterns. And patterns feel harmless until they compound. That's the silent part of credit damage. It doesn't break overnight. It erodes slowly. And that makes it dangerous because you adapt to it until it defines your options. And options define your future. Most people wait for motivation, but motivation never arrives on time. Systems don't wait for motivation. They react to behavior instantly. Every choice leaves a trace, and traces become history. This is why credit feels invisible, until it becomes real. And reality is always late, but consequences are not. People think credit is about banks, but it's really about behavior. And behavior is invisible in the moment, but not invisible over time. That's the part people miss. Credit doesn't punish you instantly. It waits, and then it reacts all at once. That moment feels sudden, but it was built slowly. And what is built slowly is the hardest to notice. That's why most people ignore it. It doesn't feel urgent, so it gets delayed. Delay is where damage grows, and growth always compounds. Good or bad, credit follows direction, and direction is chosen daily, not once, but every single day. Most people think control comes from big changes, but control comes from repetition. And repetition is what credit measures. Not intention, not stress, but behavior. That's where everything changes. Not overnight, but over time. And time always wins. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It only responds to consistency. Most people underestimate small actions, but credit is built on them. Every swipe is a signal, and signals accumulate until they define you. That's why habits matter more than knowledge, because knowledge doesn't change credit. Behavior does, and most people never connect the dots. They see events, not patterns, and that's exactly why they stay stuck. Stuck is not a situation. It's a pattern loop, and loops feel normal until they don't. Reality doesn't break you, your habits do, and habits are built quietly.